Hello and welcome to the latest installment of PSG Talking. I'm your host Ed, and later on today's show, I'm going to be joined by PSG Hub to break down PSG's preseason draw against Al-Nassr and all the latest transfer rumors. But first, we've got to talk about, yes, Kylian Mbappé, the man who dreams of Real Madrid, yet can't seem to make up his mind whether he really wants to go there or not. So, as things stand at the time of this recording, and it is in the afternoon where I am on Tuesday, July 25th, PSG believe that Mbappé has agreed to go to Real Madrid next summer on a free transfer when his contract at PSG expires. And so PSG, they've announced that they are willing to entertain offers for Mbappé now. And they just received a massive one, 300 million euro from Al-Hilal in the Saudi Pro League. They are offering PSG with another 700 million or so. I mean, who's counting at that point? Going to Mbappe in wages just for one season's worth of work. And then Al-Hilal are like, come for a season, play, we'll make you a billionaire footballer. And then after that, your contract's over. You can make your way over to Real Madrid, free transfer, no issues. Everyone's a winner. Now, we don't know yet whether Mbappe will go to the Saudi League for a season. There's been a report that maybe his family is inclined to take them up on that offer, but we're still waiting to hear from Mbappe. But as Nick Miller for The Athletic comically put it, quote, hard to believe that Mbappe would choose to play in an uncompetitive league, being paid large amounts of money by people promoting the public image of a morally questionable petrostate, end quote. Yes, hard to believe that he would immediately turn that down. I think, back to reality here, I think in all seriousness that Mbappe really would struggle to come up with a good reason to turn down the Saudi League's offer, just given his career so far. So, other than maybe wanting to inflict the most damage on PSG, I just personally can't see why Mbappe would turn down this offer. But we'll see. We'll see. One thing that I am confident of is that PSG will absolutely bench Mbappe for this season. If he doesn't go to Al-Hilal, if he doesn't go to Real Madrid or any other teams that have been rumored, I do think PSG will follow through and bench him. What about the legalities and French law and yada yada? You can't do it. No. The club is under no obligation to play him whatsoever. What they have an obligation to do is give him access to the training facility, train with the first team, but not playing time. No, they absolutely do not. Now, Kylian Mbappe has to ask himself, if he believes that PSG will follow through with this, does he want to sit out an entire season ahead of next summer where France will be playing in the Euros? And then this little thing called the Olympics that Paris is hosting. So does he want to sit out an entire year, not play competitive football at the highest level, and then also watch Erling Haaland maybe win another Champions League, maybe make more, break more goal scoring records? Does he want to see the Manchester City striker continue his rise to potentially being called the best footballer in the world? A title that I think most would give Mbappe right now. I don't think he wants to do that, and so now the ball is in Kylian Mbappe's court. Either accept the offer from Al-Hilal and leave, or he could choose to opt into that third year in his current contract with PSG and then say, look, I got to get out of here, request a transfer. And with that extra year, I think Real Madrid would come to the table with a reasonable offer, and they would make a bid, and the transfer would be settled then. Speaking of Real Madrid, I think that their plan, whether he opts into the third year or not, I think their plan is ultimately to wait as long as possible before having to get involved. They don't want to give PSG a large sum of money so that they can go out and replace Mbappe. And of course, there's no really replacing Mbappe, but you could use 150 to 180, certainly 300 million, and buy 2-3 players who could come in. You could fill out the depth in your squad. That money could certainly be used to build a very, very good squad to what is already a very talented squad. So I don't think Real Madrid want to put PSG in a position of strength with that kind of money, with plenty of time to kind of survey the transfer market and sign who they want. I think Harry Kane certainly definitely would be in play then. So that's why I think PSG need to start setting deadlines for teams to submit offers, for Mbappe to respond, and then if those deadlines aren't respected, then just say, you're on the bench this season. Sorry, we tried. This is the way it is. So I think that PSG need to start putting their foot down a little bit more. It's enough is enough. Fans are fed up with it. We're tired of it. The season's about to start. We want to focus on the players who want to be here, who are playing well. We want to focus on performances, results, mapping out the season, how we can be a success. We don't want to deal with the drama of Kylian Mbappé anymore. I think we're over it. Great player. Appreciate it. You want to go. We want you to go, so make it happen. Just make it happen. The ball's in your court, Kylian. You can make the decision. It's a delicate situation. A lot of moving parts. Big egos. A lot of money. But ultimately, PSG just can't go into another season with this headache. And so, hopefully this gets resolved soon. All right. Now let's get into my interview with PSG Hub. It's always a pleasure to have him on the show. He's a go-to source for all PSG news in English. Highly recommend you giving him a follow. He does his best work over on Twitter, now known as X. I think that's the name of it. Anyway, PSG Hub. Seek him out, find him, follow. Great account, very knowledgeable. I had him on. We talk about PSG's 0-0 draw against Al-Nassr. We got more on the Mbappe situation. Latest on Harry Kane, whether we think that's a transfer that could realistically happen. And then I also asked PSG Hub what his favorite signing of the summer has been so far. So hope you enjoyed the interview. And without further ado, here is PSG Hub. All right, joining me here, we have PSG Hub. So glad to have you on the show. How are things on your end?
I'm very good, guys, and it's a pleasure to be here to talk about the club.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's start with something that's maybe not as sexy as transfer gossip, which I know a lot of people want to hear. But we did have some actual football today. PSG played a friendly against Al-Nassr, where I am here in the U.S. That match was on at 4 a.m, and it was very difficult to watch because it wasn't on our normal broadcasting channel and all of that. So that just shows how much PSG cares about the American audience. So PSG Hub, you told me you did watch the match. Tell me
True.
about it. What did you
Yes.
like? What stood out to you?
So yes, we had I'd say, very good first 30 minutes. Very good pressing, very good passing game, passing style. A lot of switch in the midfield between Sherendor, Vitinha, Warren Zaire-Emery. Sorry. Very good play by the three of them. Noah Lemina on the left side was really good. A lot of dribble, one-on-one. He did very well on his side. He brought a lot of difficulties for the Al-Nassr right back. He had like 2 or 3 chances, but we don't have a pure striker, a pure number 9. So there was no one in the box to score. I'd say difficult game again for Marco Asensio. We know he's not very good. He's not very fast, so putting him on the right side or in the striker position is not his best position. I really enjoyed Hakimi as well. Very technical and very clever in his pass, in his when he's coming back in the defense to help his teammates. Which player I can talk about again?
Yeah, if you could talk about Sharon Dor, because he's a player, new signing. I think he's fantastic. I love everything about him, everything that I've seen so far. He was going up against, I mean, it's Al Nassr, but they had Fofana, Brezovic, a pretty decent midfield. How did he fare against those two?
I think he did a very good first 45 minutes. You can really see, sorry, his height and his physical is an advantage. He was very clean, very good pass, and he wasn't doing a lot of mistakes, and he was recovering so many balls. doing forward passes, very good, like Warren, like Vitinha. I really enjoyed those three guys in the midfield for the first half, but at the start of the second half, you could see they were really tired, so it was a little bit less perfect,
Yeah.
that's it. I
Yeah.
really like Cherendor profile. He's a very tall and physical midfielder. He's unique in the PSG squad.
I don't know how they can get tired. They had Kim Kardashian there, was watching from the stands with her son. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to be subbed out. Yeah, it sounds like this match is maybe what we can expect if PSG doesn't sign a true striker and if they follow
Yes,
through with benching Mbappe, which we'll get into here shortly. That PSG really lacks speed and goal scoring.
true.
Losing, your top goal scorer and your top assist man in Mbappe and Messi is certainly going to have an impact. So it's a problem, and I think this match, from listening to you, kind of underscores that a little bit. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, exactly. This game really showed a lot more than this is Le Havre last Friday. We really saw today that we lack a number nine. We lack a very good world-class striker who can link up with the wingers, who can link up with the midfielders, and obviously we can finish the play we have. So yes, this game today really showed that, and for sure Asensio isn't a striker. I don't think Ekitike is the profile we are looking for. If we will talk about that later. So if we want Harry Kane, for sure Ekitike isn't what we need right now. And like you said, when you lost Messi, you seems to be willing to bench Mbappe for the whole season. Neymar isn't a striker, isn't a central striker anyway. So for sure, today it was very difficult to score.
Yeah, and Ekitike, who you mentioned, didn't even get into the match.
Sure, yes.
Last question for you about the friendly here. Luis Enrique, you buying into him? New manager coming in? Are you liking what you're seeing from him so far?
So far from the last two games, it's the first two games, so I'm really buying into it. Yes, like I said, I really enjoyed the way Cherendor, Warren, and Vitinha were playing with each other today. This first half, it was really how can I say that? You can see Enrique did give them some things to do. Like they were really doing their jobs and the best they can do. Um, yes, I think I'm buying into Enrique playstyle. There was a lot of passing, a lot of forward pass. Um, we were recovering the ball very fast as well. Um, Hakimi did a very great job at that today. Um, but it's difficult. At the 60th minute, he changed. He bring on nine new players, and it was Marco Verratti is our best midfielder, so he came on and he do his long balls. So it's directly a little bit more you know enjoyable to watch, if I can say that. But I think Cherendo, Warren, Vitinha, Noah Lemina, Hakimi, Lucas Hernandez, they did very well.
And even Kurzawa got in the match, and
Sure,
yeah,
yes.
I'm starting to get more and more excited about Luis Enrique, especially after I saw that picture of him doing a slide tackle on some young
True.
kid. I love that photo. All right, let's get into the transfer news because that is where you really excel, and there is a big transfer brewing on the horizon for
True.
PSG. Um, so PSG reportedly willing to entertain offers for Mbappe. He's not agreeing to that extension in his current contract, and PSG don't want to lose him for free. So
Yes.
it's sort of just They both have dug their heels in. And so Al-Hilal of the Saudi Pro League, they've submitted an absolutely insane offer.
Yeah,
Essentially gives PSG 300 million euro, I think, and
that's
it
a
would
world record fee.
world record fee. Mbappe would be paid an exorbitant fee that would make him a billionaire footballer. How serious do you think Mbappe is going to take that offer? Because the ball is in his court, as they say. If he wants to go, he can go. PSG have accepted it. So, do you think Mbappe seriously entertains that?
So for sure, like you said, it's definitely in his hands. For now, my opinion is I don't think he will entertain this offer because I don't think he wants to play even one season in Saudi Arabia with Al-Hilal. Um, I don't think he wants to go there. Yes, I think he wants to stay in Europe and knowing the kind of player he is, always looking for title, for individual awards, for honors, for his name to be talked, in the media, in the press. I think going there will be like losing a year, and I don't think at 24-year-old he wants to lose a year, even more with the European Championships, coming in the summer of 2024 and the Olympics.
And those are fair points. I mean, it is a lot of money, and we now know that when Mbappe signed that new contract last summer, um, it was basically for money. PSG just offered him more money than Real Madrid, and I think that's what kind of turned his head. It's so much money. I just can't
True.
imagine he wouldn't take it seriously for one season. And if you look at some of the players that have signed there, they're not all, washed up old players. I mean,
True.
we just mentioned Fofana, he went there. Say
Brozovic.
Maximum. Yeah, so you could argue that the Saudi League has more stars in it than League On, and he's been here for what, 6, 7 years. So it's like, why wouldn't you go there for one year and make 700 million,
It's
right?
a very good question, but I don't think going there at right now for him is a good idea for his image. I think it
Mm.
would take a lot of it would impact his marketing image a lot, even for 1 year. Like you are in Paris, you're going
Mm.
there for 1 year, and after that you come back to Europe. I don't think it's a really good move for your brand. In general, really like his brand. Um, I may for sure. I think he will think twice. I think he will for sure talk about that offer with his camp. But I don't think he will end up giving it a go.
Yeah, Mbappe taking a lot of money
It's
from
difficult. It's
maybe.
very difficult.
Yeah, it's not like Mbappe to take a lot of money from maybe a somewhat suspect entity that played in inferior league. I saw someone tweet that out, and I was like, hit the nail on the head there. So we'll have to see. I think he will either consider it or maybe use it to get more money out of Real Madrid or change the terms, because I think the deal with Saudi is that they would give them or give him 100% image rights. Basically, they will do anything that Mbappe wants. They'll adjust the terms,
For
they'll give
sure.
him more money. Whatever he wants, he can get. So I don't. Have you seen anything where Mbappe, like anything from a credible source, where he's not interested, 100% not going? Has that come out yet?
Uh, for what I read, it's like yes, it's 4 in the afternoon today right now in France. It's not really the hour with big papers, important news. It's most likely going to be released in later in the day. But from last night and this morning, l'équipe with Loïc Tanzi or even RMC Sports, they were saying like he's not. He's unlikely, to go there. Maybe his camp will talk with Al-Hilal, entertain this offer, but I don't think the player himself, from what I read, as of today, for sure. Maybe it can change in the next hours, tomorrow or in 3 days. But I haven't read anything saying the player is thinking about this offer for now.
Fantastic. And I want to get your thoughts. I'm gonna have some legal questions for you. So put on your legal hat here for a second. PSG reportedly willing to bench Mbappe, just leave him, let him train. The players union there has basically said that's breaking the law. You can't do that. But I think PSG can. I think as long as Mbappe is access to the facility, the training facility, that he's training with the first team, I think that's as far as they have to go. PSG don't have to play him in any
Yes.
games, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're talking about the UNFP guy who
Right.
were talking on the French TV, saying he will ask PSG to play Mbappe. He has no right. For sure, PSG has some obligation. They have to let him train in the facilities with the team. They can select him for match day, but the decision to play him or not, to leave him on the bench, is 100% on Luis Enrique and for sure Luis Campos, Nasser. It's 100% on the club side. UNFP can't obligate. They can't say to PSG you have to play Mbappe. If Luis Enrique and the board say we are leaving you on the bench, you are staying on the bench, you will stay on the bench, and the legal part of French football can do anything.
Yeah, I don't see them threatening any lawsuits to get Levin Kurzawa more playing time. So, yeah, so I think that covers it. And then with Xavi Simons, he goes to Leipzig on loan. When he was coming over from PSV, it was basically that either Mbappe or Neymar needs to go to open up some playing time there in the attack. It seems like Mbappe is likely going to be going this summer. What can PSG recall him back from loan? Do they have to wait to the
It's
next transfer window?
it's an interesting question. I didn't think about that. For sure, if you had asked me a few weeks earlier, I would say we should have kept Xavi Simons. But when we accepted his loan 2 weeks ago to Leipzig, this Mbappe story wasn't as developed as today, if I can say that. Um, I don't think I don't think it's a possibility to bring him back. Um, for sure, maybe there could be some possibilities, but I don't think it's in the book for the PSG and for Leipzig. I don't see Leipzig, welcoming him 2 weeks earlier and saying goodbye to him only a month after. I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, there would probably be some sort of pretty hefty fee that PSG would have to pay. I
Yes,
I just
for
didn't know
sure.
if it was completely impossible or if PSG really wanted to. Could they recall him in the event that Mbappe goes? Let's leave Mbappe for a second because I want to talk about Harry Kane because he's a transfer rumor that just won't
Yes.
seem to go away. Do you think that Tottenham are using PSG to raise Kane's transfer fee with Bayern Munich interested, or do you think that a deal could actually get done with PSG and Harry Kane?
I think with Daniel Levy and Nasser, a very good relationship. It's definitely a possibility. I think Levy would rather sell Harry Kane to Paris, to his good friend Nasser, than to Bayern Munich, with whom they don't have a really good relationship with Bayern board. I don't think PSG is used as a leverage for Harry Kane or for Tottenham to have more money. For sure on player side, I'm sorry. For sure on player side, Harry Kane will use PSG interest for sure, but that's every player are doing that, so it's not new. Um, but I think we definitely have a chance because of the relationship we have with Tottenham.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about PSG needing goals. Harry
Yes,
Kane is about as proven of a goal scorer as they come out there. The striker market incredibly thin. If it's not going to be Harry Kane, you have to think that PSG are going to sign a striker. Is there someone else out there that you think is maybe just as realistic of a signing that you think PSG could bring in and could help fill that goals void?
there don't. I don't see a lot, of very good options. For sure, Harry Kane is the best one. He's an established player, experience. I think he's 30 years old or 29. So he's really in his best, in his prime, in his best years. But for other options, we talked a lot about Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta, the Danish striker, the 20-year-old Danish striker.
Yeah, linked with Manchester United as well, I think.
Well, yes. Per report, his priority is Manchester United, and Manchester United have made him as well their priority. So I think it's difficult to bring in Rasmus Højlund, but in my opinion, he will be a very good signing. He's really young. His profile is definitely what we lack and what we need. He's tall. He's fast. He's like it's for sure. It's not really the best comparison, but he's like Erling Haaland. He's really similar in the term of style, of physical condition, and the way he plays. But for sure, Haaland is definitely the best one out there in Europe. So it's not really fair to both of them to compare. But I really like Rasmus Højlund. Then we can talk maybe about Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica, but a different profile.
Yeah.
I prefer Rasmus, in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, and Ramos, he's at Benfica. We know Luis Campos, good contacts over in that league. So that seems like a sign. I still, for me, it's Harry Kane, and I was just looking it up at English players. Do you want to take a guess how many English players have played for PSG in the history of the club?
What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, do you want to take a guess how many English players have played for PSG in the club's history?
No, I'm not taking a guess. Tell me. None. Zero.
You could probably name one. David Beckham.
David Beckham, yes. So
yeah, he was. And then so the total was 3. Ray Wilkins, in 1987, and then Jansen Derek in 1971-72 came from. Yeah.
So only David Beckham in recent years.
Yeah, in recent years it would only be David Beckham. So if Harry Kane came, he would certainly. It would be unique. We don't see too many English players come to Ligue 1 in general or PSG, so we'll have to keep it.
Just like Kang-in from Korea. He's our first Asian player, I think, if I'm not wrong.
I think you are right. I think you're correct. Yes. All right, PSG Hub, we've got one more question for you. So I've talked to a few fans and asking them who their favorite signing of the summer is, but I want to get you on record. Which of the new signings do you like the most that you think will impress this season that you're really excited about?
I'm really excited about Kang-in, from what we have seen before his injury versus Le Havre last Friday. But in general, I think Lucas Hernandez will be very important. I think he will be a big leader for the squad, a very good center backs, and I hope he will stay away from injuries.
That's always the story of PSG season, isn't it? Can we just avoid injury? Yeah, and when it comes to Neymar, he's working his way back. I think we need a little bit more depth so that we can rest him a little bit more. I don't think we can play him as much. I think we need to kind of save him for that second half of the season, bring him along slowly. So a lot more work in the transfer window to do. How many more signings do you think PSG are going to make?
I think, like you said, we need some additional players, and one I would be excited for will be Bradley Barcola, the right winger from Lyon. From reports we have read recently, he's really keen to join Paris, and PSG are very keen to sign him. So I hope it will be done. It will be a very exciting signing, in my opinion. He's really fast. He's young. He's explosive, and we lack these kind of players on the right side. So that would be an example of one signing we could make in the coming weeks. So how many I expect more? So I'm counting on Bradley Barcola and maybe, like you said, yes, for sure, a striker, number 9. So whether it's Harry Kane or any other one, so that makes 2. I'd like another forward. I think we should sign 3 forwards. So a striker, Bradley Barcola, maybe a left winger. I know we have Noah Lemina and he's really showed his potential today, but I think we should maybe looking at this market for a left winger. I think we could need another midfielder, maybe more. I don't really know which kind of profile we should be looking at in the midfield. I think we have a lot of options already at our disposal, but I think we like a world-class midfielder, alongside Verratti, and Warren, Sherendo, and the other guys. Maybe a left back with Nuno Mendes being injured, Levin Kurzawa not really reliable, nor Juan Bernat. We have Sheriff Naga from the academy, who's really exciting prospect, but he's really young, so I don't think it would be very good to have him as our second options. So maybe I think it's a bit unrealistic, but I would like 6 other signings, and for sure on the other side we have to sell some players. We sold Moro Icardi already. Paredes will leave for sure. And we have to see if Navas leaves. Are we bringing a new goalkeeper? There is some reports about Arno Tenas from Barcelona. He's a free agent.
That's the one I was thinking. That we probably need another goalkeeper.
Yes, maybe like 5 or 6 players in the coming weeks, but for sure we have to sell. We have to let some player leave on loan. For sure, there will be some movements in the coming weeks.
Well, I think it's safe to say you are going to be very busy over on PSG Hub on Twitter, or I guess it's X now. Is that what they're calling it, X? So anyway, follow PSG Hub over on Twitter/X for all of this updates, because it's going to be a chaotic end to the transfer window for PSG. You just heard all of the work that needs to be done with the club, completely rebuilding it, and then that big one with Kylian Mbappe. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Does he go to the Saudi League? Does he stay? Does he go to Real Madrid? Lots going on. PSG Hub, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.